Howdy, I'm Goat.
I'm Tiller.
This is Goat and Tiller's Outdoor Adventures. Like, share, and subscribe. Well, Tiller, pretty evening this evening.
It is, I tell you.
We was hoping for rain. As y'all can see, the cloud, well, I don't know how good you can see, but there's big old clouds, and there's a line supposed to be in here today, and we could use some water.
I tell you what, it's dry there, Goat, and it's looks like it's going to stay north of us a bit.
I wish you'd build back. I know a lot of people don't like storms, but my garden's up there hollering. had to water mine yesterday. But I tell you what, still blessed to be able to be out. It's been hot and humid today, but folks, it ain't bad sitting out here.
Too bad.
I guess them storms close took the little bit of humidity out of there, but just sitting there, Taylor said, hey, let's shoot a video one day this week. And of course, we're always like, hey, what you want to shoot it on or what you want to do? And I was just sitting there and I told him today, I said, and I still do. This ain't no setup or prop. I still whittle. And I told Taylor, I said, you know how many good conversations have been made?
And how many deals have been made?
Over a stick of cedar. I've sat and watched my grandpa and them trade knives and whittle, and then the next week trade knives
back. Yeah. And you remember when we was young, you used to go to the cattle sale.
Yeah.
Them old men sit there at the cattle sale and just sit there and whittle cedar. They wasn't buying nothing, most of them.
No. They
chew tobacco and whittle.
Well, if you remember when we was younger over here, the old country store, big old piles of shavings.
And even at the courthouse.
They used to, one of the gentlemen I work with, he remembers part of their job. Of course, he's been where I work for almost 40 years, and he said part of his job was to go sweep up the cedar shavings on Monday morning. But I think that's what we're missing.
It is. The simpler times and the folks that spent time with each other and they helped each other in the community, and we've lost so much of that. And we're not harping on nobody when we say that.
No.
We're as guilty as everybody else when it comes to modern day stuff.
Well, they say technology is to make things easier, and don't get me wrong, I'm like Taylor. Some technology is real nice,
Right.
But they said it's supposed to make life easier, and in my opinion, it's complicated life.
I agree with you.
I remember growing up, like he was saying, you went and sat at people's yards or on the front porch. I remember the kids running around the yard playing, and the older people sitting there on the back porch, and we don't see that no more.
No.
And our previous video was talking about our nation, and that's some of the things we think that we've lost that meant more than what we thought.
Oh yeah.
There's just so much that's took place on the back porch. There ain't no phone. Please don't take this wrong, folks. It's sad to see all these kids today. And I've got a phone too, and y'all may be laughing at us and y'all on YouTube.
We're sitting here shooting a video,
but you go, and we don't go out and eat that often, but when you do, you see families. Go ahead, I know what you're fixing.
No, go ahead, because that's what I was going to say. They're just sitting there with each one of them, even the parents.
Yeah.
They're on their phones.
And you know what? You can whittle that down. And somebody asked me today, I was sitting there whittling at lunch. They said, what are you making? I said, toothpick. It ain't got to be something extravagant. I don't know what it is. People talk about stress relievers. A good sharp knife, and that's a knife my dad gave me a long time ago. That's a good knife because you can see it rust.
Right.
But this country is going in the wrong direction, in our opinion. We're not against technology at all.
No.
But folks, we need to get back to basics.
We do.
I mean, these old boys here, my neighbors here getting ready to cut some hay, and they usually give us some hay, and we still got it here.
We do.
And America is still, in a lot of ways, good shape. You can't blame the nation.
No.
The people.
It's the people. We've changed. And I say we.
Absolutely.
We all have, and back in the community, we still got a good community here where we live. People will lend a hand all the time, but that's something you don't see as often, especially growing up. You went by, you seen somebody struggling with something, you stopped and helped them. And we still do that here in this community.
We try our best. Probably could do better.
Right, we could. We're not by no means perfect in any ways. We could visit more with some of these older folks. You know, people used to, after church, they'd go and visit some of these older folks, and like Goat said, sit on their porch and visit with them, and the kids played in the yard.
I miss that, and I'm being serious. This ain't a video to get y'all. I genuinely miss that. I miss, you know, people say, and it didn't have to be family. It could be a neighbor down the road just pull in. I remember sitting over at Granny's, and they liable to be 3 or 4 different sets of families up there. But
you'd sit out there and snap beans, and you know, in the summertime on the porch, and the kids were playing and talking, and the grown-ups talking and snapping beans.
I wonder how many kids nowadays even know what a real hide and go seek was.
Oh yeah, without being in the house
or street lights. But no, we ain't here complaining. We just thought, man, what a good evening, and remind folks, don't get rid of those old ways. They're precious. There's a song a lot of churches sing, "Precious Memories," but they are precious because if we don't occupy our children, video games and stuff will. And I think you said that on a different video. Or it'll raise them. And yeah, you might say, well, what's a kid going to learn from Whittling? Well, let me tell you something. I've sat around many a good conversation of old men talking. Now, some of it was just old cutting up and funny, but a lot of good conversations. Maybe about, well, we helped old so-and-so, or hey, we got to get so-and-so's hay in. We can still do things. I know as a lot of people don't farm as much, but we can help in so many ways. Daggone it, we don't need to lose.
We don't. You know, we're kind of like our generation and our generation gap. Beyond that, you know, these youngins, so many of them don't know anything.
No.
They're not being taught some of the stuff that we grew up learning and knowing about.
And part of that's our fault.
It is.
We ain't passing it on. You know, I don't need a gold star or a cookie, but, you know, my daughter, you know, she's coming on up there 30-year-old now, but she can plant a garden, and she knows how, and she used to tell you every tree in these parts of the woods.
And she can hunt too.
She been known to put the smack down on a few deer. I often bragged on her. I can't say this. And all the years she deer hunted, she don't get to do as much. She got 2 youngins, but she never missed a deer.
That's good.
And we had a lot of good eating. But you know, we need to pass. It ain't got to be hunting.
No.
You can pass on fishing. You can pass on artifacts. Find an artifact.
And you know, anything that
we got to quit losing these good things. You know,
do.
You turn on the TV and it's doom and gloom and woe is me, and get outside.
And again, folks, this news and all this stuff, it can be depressing and it can get on people's nerves. But if you just remember, God's got a plan. It don't matter what they say on the news or what they do. It might affect our lives, our daily lives, but God's still got a plan, and He's allowing this to happen for a reason.
And I guarantee you that plan ain't going to deviate. Now, Scripture also tells us if we as a nation pray, that God will hear us.
Right.
And I'm afraid in many ways He ain't hearing a lot what's going on. Now listen, we're not here condemning nobody's lifestyle. That's what you do is that's between you and the good Lord above. All we're saying is a lot of people look, well, them old country hicks. Yep, proud of it, very proud of it. And we may have a simple life, but I think it's a happy life.
It is.
And it's about friends. It's about community. It's about God. It's about doing things that don't take electricity. Here we are shooting a video. That ain't electricity. That's a battery tiller.
Yeah, that's DC.
Yeah, it's DC. It ain't AC. But folks, we live in this great nation, as we say all the time. And I guess maybe that's what we'll name it. Pass on the good times forgotten.
Right.
Because, yeah, again, y'all probably won't like whittling on a stick.
That goes back to just thinking, remember old Merle Haggard, are the good times really over?
And in ways they are,
in
but
a lot of ways.
It's up to us. You can't pass something on if you don't show or tell someone.
And me and my wife never could have youngins, and I just throw that out there to you. But you know, I've got nephews and stuff. I've taught to turkey hunt and different things. And grab a kid, a relative, you know, somebody that their parents ain't doing something with them. And I know it's a little more difficult in these times to take someone's kid and do something. But if they're family or something, take them out and do something with them.
Well, we live in a society where we was talking the other night. We used to coon. We used to coon hunt, and you can't do things like that like you used to. A lot of people quit coon hunting because if your dog goes on your neighbor, somebody else's property, you end up in a lawsuit in court, and that's a shame. It ain't gonna be coon hunting or whatever. Now, used to you go out and hunt. Now you got to pay $500 a year to find a place that allow you to hunt, but that don't mean you can't stop doing little. I don't own no big acreage here. Tiller don't own no huge farm yet, but right here between our houses, you know, there's been some, this fella here killed a dandy buck last year. One of the biggest I've ever seen come out of these areas.
I'll tell you, when I get him back, I'll show you. He is a dandy.
Oh, son, I'm telling you, one of the best ones I've seen come out of this neck of the woods in years. But I don't know how long this video is. We're about 11 minutes, and I don't reckon it matters. My point being is Tiller wanted to shoot a video, and we was like, well, what? Let's pass some stuff on. You know, I don't want to pass my grandson a cell phone. No.
Or a video game or what have you.
You know, he comes up my grandbabies, well, grandsons, they come up every year and help me plant the garden. That youngest one, he tears up more than he does. But Landon, my oldest, he'll sit right there and he'll plant stuff, and he comes back up and he gets to see the fruit of planting. And I tell you what, if I can ever get him on video, the most sweetest thing my grandson does is when he hollers at this one, "Hey, Taylor!" But I tell you what, be outside. I know everybody can't get outside. They can't.
And everybody ain't blessed with what we do have right here in this community. You know, you take somebody who lives in a neighborhood in a big city.
They may be,
but
go to a park then.
And some people like that lifestyle, and I'm not downing it a bit in the world.
If that's what they enjoy.
Right. But like you said, go to a park or something.
You know, and if it ain't your cup of tea, that's fine. We're not saying don't live in a city. Matter of fact, we got a lot of folks moving in this area, and if I had my old selfish human way, I'd say don't do it, you know. But, you know, our little community's starting to grow, and things are changing, but I don't reckon I'm planning on it myself.
No, I don't see me going nowhere.
As the old saying is, I may have to bend a little, but I hope I don't break. But I tell you what, folks, don't forget that, like Tiller said, God is in control. And it don't matter what's going on. But pass on some of the stuff maybe your dad or granddad or uncle or whoever may have taught you. Because life is short. She's really short. And we don't need to forget that if we don't pass it on, it won't be passed on.
It's lost forever.
You know, and I still want to do that one video. We got to drive you through our old community. It's an old mining community, basically, and there's a lot of history right here on this little road, and it may not interest everybody. Right. But, you know, there's a old man we watch over in East Tennessee a little bit, old Donnie Laws. He's got a YouTube channel. He talks a lot about Appalachian history. And we're in Appalachians here on the southern end of it, but we have our own history.
We do.
And you can't pass on history if people forget about it.
Right. If you don't teach it, it's gone.
And maybe that's our message. Let's keep teaching. So, you know what? Plant gardens, go. Hey, I'll tell you what. Let's challenge them. Get on here and like and share and subscribe, as everybody knows to say. But put a comment if you went and visited somebody, if you sat on a porch in the next 2 weeks. I challenge you, go find somebody you ain't, just sit and talk to them. And if they don't want to talk to you, go to the next house. Maybe you don't even know them, they might sit with you. But it all starts with us.
That's it. We're the only ones who can change it.
And
we're talking about ourselves, folks.
Oh, yeah. We've had this conversation like, well, we don't do this and we need to do that. And so I guess we need to start. And we're bad because we live so close together here.
Right.
We do visit a lot. We're, you know, but go sit on some porches.
Especially some of the older folks that don't have people. They need that.
They enjoy conversation.
I went and visited that old fella the other day, and just he was tickled to death.
Yeah, and same old fella, I stopped and dropped him off some eggs, and just little things like that. And he asked me to sit, but guess what? He asked me, "Hey, sit down and talk." But no, wife's in there. Hey, we're going somewhere.
There's a deer right there, good.
Right across the driveway. Hey, we'll be back. We gotta go kill one. No, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, go like Taylor's saying. Let us and take your kids with them. They may ask you, "What are we doing?" Well, tell them you're visiting.
Shoot, when I was a kid, I got a kick when they said we was going to Grandma's house. Son, that was like going to Disney World for some kids.
I like Grandma's house, as you can tell, because Taylor's been over at my granny's house. If you went in that house and there wasn't something on the table, there was something bad wrong.
And you remember, like, my grandma, you come in, you're the same way. Y'all come on in, get you something to eat. There's plenty of food there on the table, what have you.
And most of it was left over biscuits or cornbread from the morning or whatever.
Remember, my grandma used to, she'd cook a big dinner at dinner time, put a sheet over it, and then they'd eat it at supper on the table.
And you know what? That's some things that still, even in my house here, I've noticed my wife will do. Old Raven, we'll have a breakfast and she'll put biscuits in the bowl and cover them with the cloth and put some bacon over there, and it'll sit out there, and we'll nibble through the day on it,
Right.
But that's just, it is a simple life. And like I said, if it ain't up your alley, that's okay.
Right.
But for all of us folks that still live out here, and it ain't just us two,
No.
there's
There's
millions.
Yeah.
Don't forget to do some porch sitting, helping each other, and being mindful. Because if you want to, as he says it, and he'll say it here in a minute, it's our responsibility. You don't wait on somebody
Right.
to start something when you know how and you know what to do.
That's exactly right.
Well, I tell you what, Taylor, we got a whole lot more whittling. I got a long
We
way
do.
to get that
We got a
toothpick.
little bit of daylight left.
Oh yeah, but I tell you what, as we always say, folks, God bless this great nation. Pray for each other, because we can pray when it don't matter what's going on. We can pray, but pray for each other. Pray for our leaders, and pray that we as a whole, we find out what it's about, and just be mindful of that. And from the bottom of my heart, we thank you for all of our viewers.
We thank y'all a lot.
And I know we ain't got 6,000 subscribers, but we're over 250 now, and that's about 150 more than what we thought we was going to get. But, hey, we ain't everybody's cup of tea, but we like our tea sweet. So we thank y'all again for watching. And Taylor?
Be kind, folks.
God bless y'all.